right, we live, sis. We live.
Yes.
Welcome to Saturday evening. Hey,
Hey, Grace.
Denise. Hey. All right, you guys. So, thank you so much. This is another edition of Balanced Lifestyle Series. Woo woo. This is March edition, and it's Woman History Month. So, what better to have a woman making history, Miss Venice over here. Okay. So I'm so thankful. I'm so honored that you're here. Thank you for your yes. I really believe our yes is what opens doors to different opportunities for us to collaborate with other people and be able to make impact the way that God's called us to do. So I am so thankful for you. I'm so glad that you're here. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself, and then I'm going to talk about how I met this beautiful lady, Miss Venice, and then she will introduce herself, and then we'll get started. So my name is Grace. I am the creator and founder of Smile Biz LLC, Single Moms Incredibly Living Empowered. I am a transformational coach where I teach high performing women how to live a balanced lifestyle to be able to gain a life of peace, prestige, purpose, and prosperity. And that's why we have this show, Balanced Lifestyle Series. By trade, I am a board certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So I do treat and diagnose mental illness and substance use disorders as well. So as I said, thank you so much for those who are going to come in, catch the replay, share this broadcast. Each one teach one. So it's important that we can be able to share these things and share these tools so we can be able to help women be able to thrive in their career, business, and personal life. So Miss Venice, listen, thank you for being here. Venice is so amazing. I actually met Venice exactly this day marks 2 years. It showed up in my Facebook memory, so whoop whoop, but I had to post it. I met Venice in Atlanta. We actually met at a speaking and coaching retreat that we were coached by world famous Marshawn and Jack Daniels. Whoop whoop. So we got to meet there and spend a couple of days there, get strategies, get a framework for what we're doing. But the beautiful thing, we was able to connect with wonderful women. I was able to connect with Venice, and she's a gem. She really is. And you guys are going to see exactly what I'm talking about tonight. Okay. So before we get started, Venice, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, Grace, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. I didn't realize that it had been 2 years, until I saw that you made that post. I said, oh my gosh, it's been such a long, long time. Well, yes. Thank you so much for having me. Everyone, my name is Venice McCoy. I am the CEO of Venice Consults, where career alignment is my passion. And that is what our mission is so far as with Venice Consults. What did you ask me? I can't remember all of the things.
I had said, pretty much you introduced yourself. How did you get into this space?
How did I get into the space? I got into the space when I was lost.
Ain't that how it be though?
It is. I was lost, and basically I didn't want anyone else to be like lost for as long as I was lost. I started as like career alignment, but I wasn't always, about like alignment anywhere near at all. I was chasing that title, let me get this resume together and all that. And in spite of like the what can I say, the degrees and all of these different things, that I've earned, I had ended up basically calling myself, I ended up settling for an administrative assistant position. I was a chief of staff administrative assistant for about, I want to say 6 years. And I was ridiculously like frustrated for multiple reasons. Like they were talking to me like I was crazy.
Ma'am.
They was talking to me like I was crazy, treating me horribly. And it was just like, enough is enough. I'm trying to, and I just had like one of those, everybody having like those moments with God.
Mm-hmm. I had that moment with God. To Jesus moment.
Yeah, I was like, some guys to give. I'm about to go off on these people because they treat me, your daughter, rude,
Right.
But the thing about it is, like I was having that moment with God and I'm yelling at him. I said, you told me, that you had plans to prosper me. I'm not really feeling like I'm prospering. You know, you gave me like all these, you said that, you know, you're richest in houses and lands and that I have, you know, access to this. I'm not seeing this. And, you know, one of the last things that I looked at him and I yelled, you know, just looking up and I'm just like, God, you know, I'm with him alone in the car and I'm just frustrated. And I said, God, I said, you told me you would give me the desires of my heart.
Yeah.
What is this? You know? And so I'm yelling and I'm like, where you at? He didn't say nothing. It was just like pure silence, just like how you was just silent. It's like looking, it was silent. And I realized that in that moment, I said, well, how can God give me the desires of my heart? And I don't even know my own desires.
Ma'am,
You
that's a
know?
word.
Yeah, you be sitting up here yelling at him, and it's like you don't even
Mm-hmm.
know what it is that you want, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
what really are you praying for, you know? And so that's why I strive for, because it's like you can do all of these different, you know, you can chase. I was, for one of the reasons for me is like I was chasing whatever success really. You know, in school, they always told us, go to school, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be
Mm-hmm.
successful. And it's so much
Yeah.
more to life than just going to school.
Absolutely.
What about life after school that they don't necessarily prepare us for?
That's right.
Because some people get lost, you know, in the sauce. And so for that reason, it's like, okay, yeah, I can write a resume and I can help other people, you know, land the job, but it's so much more to that. So much more
Yeah.
than, you know, gaining this title.
Mm-hmm.
Or else you're gonna settle or you'll stay there as well. And so that's why I tell people now, one of the things that like I practice, I went and I sought help myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I also I say, choose a career that aligns with your shoes. So that's
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And that brings us to what the topic of tonight is anyway, is career alignment, you know, and I titled it Working in Purpose for a reason, because I think it was this week I posted, it said work is what you do, but purpose is how you live. So, you know, it's about the purpose, you know, and that's how you can get aligned to where you're supposed to be, by chasing out the purpose versus chasing out them titles and chasing out the degrees and chasing out them coins. Even though them coins are good, but still, you know, if you chase out the purpose, your opportunities would be great. And I can relate to what you're saying. So how about for someone who they are in alignment, but that job is, you know, you have articulated like you was going through all this stress with that one job, but it wasn't particularly where you were supposed to be. But how about the person that knows they're in their place and these challenges came up? Because last year I had a tough time during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone knows I work in mental health. I know this is my purpose, because I ran away from working in mental health. It wasn't nursing school, didn't want to do anything in psych. Didn't after nurse school, didn't want to do anything in psych. God literally pushed me into this position.
Gotcha.
And so I worked hard to get into working as an NP. You know, I've been in mental health for over 8 years, and I went in steps. You know, I didn't just get my master's degree overnight. I went through literally 8 years of school to, you know, I literally went through years of school to get to where I am now. So COVID last year was like, I was getting all these patients. My time was just, I was mentally not well, physically not well because of my schedule. And I had to come to Jesus, another come to Jesus moment, like, God, do you really want me to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is starting to affect my time with my family. It's starting to affect me physically. Like, there's no rhyme or reason I should get off work and want to go take a nap, because I just drained.
Wow. Yes.
I'm like, you know, God, like, is this like, I really don't know if this is this. I was ready to quit. I was literally looking for other jobs because I was like, this ain't it.
This ain't gonna go.
You know, and I had to sit in that and ask God, like, ask him, is it time for me to shift to another environment that's a little bit more flexible, or should I stick this through and I'm just giving up too quickly? So what do you say for the people who that they may be aligned in their career, but they dealing with these type of challenges, you know, because they come up, there's no perfect job. So what do you say to people, the women who go through that struggle?
I'm so sorry that you went through that, first of all.
That's all good now. My schedule's changed.
Like,
I changed my schedule.
Yeah, it's nothing like going, getting off work and, I've been there, that whole struggle of just being drained. You don't even have the energy for yourself, let alone, for family. So sorry that you went through that, but I'm so grateful that you're out of it now. One thing that I would say is that if there is some type of draining, then something is out of alignment. Something is out of alignment there. In regards to the fact that I say that we need to choose a career that aligns with our shoes. For you, yes, you did go to school for this. And this is something, this is a part of your purpose, but you're so much more than that degree. You're so much more than let me just break down shoes for you so the way you can understand what it is that I was thinking about. So with like shoes, the first S is for significance. And so the significance is basically just saying, okay, you need to make sure that you're choosing your own values. So you need to make sure that you know what your own values are. Okay.
And so shoes like S, like like shoes on your foot, on your feet. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And it's an exponent of 2 on the E.
So okay.
And so a lot of times within significance, sometimes what we do, and this is one thing that I found out within myself, is that first of all, I didn't even really know what my values really were, first of all. And so a lot of times what we do is we'll go ahead and we're gonna, because someone said that this particular employer is an excellent employer, or they have excellent benefits, or have particular pay, but what are their values? Because at the end of the day, like, you cannot change an entire organization's values. And then so you're going to be going along with them. And so one of the things with that is like, okay, for you, you're valuing time. You're valuing your own energy. You valued some time with your family. And so obviously, when I say that there was something that was off, that could have been something that was off because the company, that you were working with is like, okay, well, but we got these clients, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not trying to help you with that, because maybe perhaps those aren't their particular values, or if it is their values, then it's lower on the totem pole, but yours are higher. And that's one thing that I learned about myself. You find yourself conflicting and frustrated with these particular with the place that you're working at. And one thing, when I assessed myself, I realized, I said, oh wow, so these are the things that I'm valuing, and these are the things that they value, but it was like miss. So what going on. So that's one reason that a lot of people have like that frustration, is because y'all not matching with values, which is your significance. And so that's one. The other, the H is for handiness. And for that one, I say respect your gifts. And
that's which one? What's the name? What's that one?
Handiness.
Handiness.
Mm-hmm.
Like handy.
Something that naturally handy to you.
Okay.
So that would be, like I said, is respecting your gifts. So respecting your own natural abilities. A lot of times we don't even know what our natural abilities are, Yeah. And so for that reason, we're working hard, or someone, or we're paying attention to the fact that they're telling us to you have to work hard. You got to grind. And it's just like, I'm done with all of that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to do something that's naturally easy to me and get paid for it. So that's another thing that can be draining, because people don't realize that they're out of alignment because they don't know what their own natural abilities are. They don't know what comes naturally handy to them, or if they do, they're going against the grain, because to them, their natural abilities are not sexy.
Whew, man, can we get an offering plate for that one? That is so true. You're right. I see it all the time, and what I do, like, people are not being their true self. They want to copycat what they see other people doing, especially we live in the social media world, and they think, okay, well, let me copy what they did and then I'll be successful. But that's not how it works. God don't bless who you pretend to be, sis. God don't bless who you pretend to be. So you have to be your gift.
Honor your own
gift.
And so
Yes.
that's why I say that. I said, okay, let's go ahead and break down all of these things that it is that we need. Because when one of these is off, it's like something, your body gonna be stressed, tired, drained, something that's gonna be, and your body speaks to you. Like yours, you said,
Right.
I'm going to sleep. I don't have no energy. And that's one of the ways that you know what something is off here.
Right.
So for the O is objectives.
Objectives.
And the
Okay.
objectives is basically just to establish your goals. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of times people are choosing, careers because yes, you need a job. But at the end of the day, sometimes you can stay in it longer than what you're supposed to stay in it. It can be a bridge, but you didn't made it a house.
Say that again. You're just dropping gems.
The job, that career was supposed to be a bridge, but you done made it a house. And
You done made it a house. You done moved in and everything, paid the mortgage. No, ma'am.
All of that,
Wow.
and it's just like, so it's like, establish your goals, establish what your goals are, because it's like, this could be, like I said, it could be a bridge to something that's next.
Yeah.
Maybe this was just to help me out with my finances at this particular time. But it's like, if you don't establish those goals, you just gonna be sitting there living and miserable, like I was.
Ma'am, that's so good. That's so good, because you see a lot of people doing that. And they be so miserable at their job. You could tell who can't stay at that job. There's no perfect job, but you can tell. If you wake up every morning with just, I go to this job again. That's just it. That's not your shouldn't be your long term. That shouldn't be your long term position.
Yeah, at all. And but without the goals, you don't know where you're going. So you just sit there and you live.
That's right. That's so good, Venice. That's so good.
Thanks. And so the E, one of the E's is for excitement. And that means to feed your passion. Feed your passion. I'm excited. We don't have any interest about that particular position, like at all. And you have to have some level of interest, some level of excitement. Like, are you excited when you wake up, when you're thinking about this position? Sometimes you can stay working late at a position, not because they're telling you that you have to, but because you're truly excited about this. Like, it's like, oh, wow, like I'm excited. Like, this is my mission and it's lining up with theirs, And so it's like, you have to make sure that you have some type of level of excitement. Some people, is like on a scale from 1 to 10, you ain't even on a scale. You at a -10 or something, I've had that, I've definitely had that. And it's just like, I'm not doing it no more.
I'm not doing it. I hear that. That's good. Yeah, you have to have that passion for what you do.
And the next E is expertise. And the expertise is just basically
2 E's. It's
S-H-O.
2 E's.
So
Okay,
it's an E with an exponent of 2.
Oh, so it's SHOE, then the exponent of 2, and then S. Got it.
Yes.
I don't know if I can do exponent in the box, but I do what I do is I'll put an E in parentheses. But that work, I just want to make sure people get the acronym. Okay, good.
We got Microsoft Word to let us do that. That's super.
Listen, and expertise. Okay,
the next expertise is to employer skills.
Oh, expertise in employer skills?
No, expertise means to employer skills.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, that's just a quick definition for you.
Cool.
And so for you, going back to your particular story, it's like, I went to school for this. This is, I went to 8 years of schooling, and it's just like, well, what about the significance, the handiness, the objectives, the excitement? I'm pretty sure you had excitement in that you got the expertise.
Yes.
I don't got those significance is the same. Yes. The handiness and all of that, then it's like something will definitely be off. And so, in skills are something that you acquire through training, like you went to school. or, you know, on the job training. And so a lot of times, you know, you also have transferable skills that you can go from one job to the next. Something that is attractive for this particular position, you can also, it can also be attractive to another position or to another employer, so to speak.
That's good.
So that's what I say with that.
Good.
And
I like that.
Thanks. And then the last S is for style. And this is something else.
You know, I like style now.
And this is something else that was probably, I think, another thing that was offered for your particular story. So style simply means to honor your personality.
Yeah.
Honor your personality. And so when I speak about personality, one of the things I'm speaking about is basically, are you introverted or are you extroverted? And a lot of times, so like the introversion, a lot of times people will say, okay, introverts are antisocial. I'm like, no, they're not antisocial. or extroverts are energy vampires. And it's just like, no, that's not it either. And so, you know, for the introverts, they gain energy by being by themselves, so to speak. And so being around other people can drain them if it's too much, you know, for too often, you don't have like those breaks. And in my mind, I said, I wonder, when you was telling that story, I said, I wonder if Grace is introverted, because you said that you were having all of these clients nonstop and you go home and you drained.
Listen, I'm an extrovert. Well, I like to say, I'm both, because I have a bubbly personality. God designed me because everything I do is vocal. You know what I mean? I talk to people, you know, that's just the type of person that I am. So I know he's created me to be that way. And that's why I use my voice, you know. However, I also value time to myself. I value, you know, quiet time in the house, spending time with my family. Those things are important to me as well. So I like to wind down, you know. So when you work all day, talking to people all day, you really just want to come home and just like, you know. And then I work from home too. I do telemedicine. So part of it. So I'm already in the environment. So it's about a balance. So I don't mind talking to people. I love it, but I have to have balance where I can have time to myself and try to process things and just calm my mind down and spend time with my family, spend time with my son, or talk to my friends and family and stuff like that without too much going on.
And so with that, like, you know, introverts can talk. So you could be more of an ambivert. And the ambiverts are more so like in the middle, not necessarily on one to the next. But the thing that makes me think that you could be still stronger on the introvert side, even though that you do, you know, that you can, you know, speak to people very freely and stuff like that, is because the thing is like, what do you do when you're tired? For you, when you were tired and you was drained, you said, I have to go and take a nap. And a true someone that's farther on the extroverted end, when they are feeling like they're tired of their drink, they like, where the party at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to go kick it. Let's go to happy hour, you know, and that wasn't something that you necessarily like reached for. But it definitely does have to be a balance, whether you're extroverted, whether you're introverted, or whether you are ambivert or ambivert. So yeah, that's that as well. And so, you know, if someone is in a position where, you know, speaking to people, you know, all the time, that's very taxing to their energy. They have to make sure that they're scheduling, or if they have assistants that's scheduling, have to make sure that you have like those breaks to recharge in between those meetings, or in between, you know, the speaking engagements or something like that. You have to make sure that you have in time to just.
I learned quickly. Because of what I was going through last year, I had a meeting with the supervising psychiatrist and the practice manager, and he's big on work-life balance too. And I think we just started picking up with counseling. It was just fast, you know, and I was just booked left and right, and I wasn't getting those times of breaks. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm just done. So he did, I adjusted my schedule this year. So starting in February, I work 3/10s, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm out of there at 12:45. But before, when I had before, when I had started, I had set boundaries anyway, where I don't take calls. I don't check messages after a certain time period for the practice. I don't do weekends. I'm like, those things can stay to Monday. So, and then now I do have a huge break time during the day, especially those 10-hour shifts that I do. So it's been very helpful with my scheduling, and even for my business, because I work and I run a business. So I work 9 to 5 and I also run a business. So I have scheduled that. I've made in my mind, like, I have to get out my office at a certain time, because my office is also what I do with telemedicine for my patients. So I have learned how to set boundaries, because I think that's the problem a lot of times is we don't set boundaries, and then we get resentful, mad at the other people, like, why are they draining us? But we never set boundaries with them to let them know what we're going to tolerate and what we're not going to tolerate, and that's the problem. So I had to have a conversation with my supervisor physician about it, especially now that we're opening up a practice near my home that I'm going to be transitioning to. So I was like, oh no, we got to get this together before I go.
You're not going to have unlimited access.
Exactly. So we was able to work something out, and I thank God that he was able to compromise, because I was about to get up out of there. I was like, I'm gonna find another psych NP job. Like, I got the skills, the expertise, I got the significance, the handiness, the objectives, the site. I got all the shoes. Okay,
right.
So I listen. When it started affecting me mentally, physically, and emotionally, affecting my time with my family, I have to check what is really important to me, and my family is important to me, so so I thank God, and I appreciate you explaining shoes. That's amazing. I like that. I really like that framework. So we kind of jumped into everything. I really want to kind of go back a little bit about what career you talked a little bit with. I mean, you said about the shoes, but we hear career alignment, but we just, it sounds like such a huge daunting term. Can we kind of break it down? What exactly does that look like? I know you explained shoes, but kind of like, what does it truly mean to be aligned in your career?
So still piggybacking like on the shoes, you definitely have to make sure that the whole thing is, for alignment, you have to know yourself first. Like, you have to define these particular shoes for yourself first. Everybody has their own set of shoes. And so with that, it's like, okay, let me make sure that I'm choosing something that aligns. It's like, let me find this out about myself first, and then I'll find an occupation, then I'll find a work environment that complements this. A lot of times when I think about alignment, a lot of times I'll talk to like my clients about like relationships, because everyone understands like some type of like dating relationship, and it's like, okay, so would you get with a guy that these are your values, and it's not, what I'm saying, there's going to be friction. And so it's like, okay, well, make sure that I know myself first before I call myself choosing something, basically, instead of just choosing this even a degree, what I'm saying? Like, I'm choosing this degree because someone said that, hey, this is a promising degree, or this is going to be a promising field in the next 10 years. It has a wonderful outlook. Okay, that's good. But does that honor me? Does that respect me? And so when I say career, I'm talking about the career, the occupation, but I'm also speaking about that environment. That environment is like, this is, and you're going to know about that in regards to their values. You have spoken values, or values that are acknowledged, like on their website, but you also have like those hidden values, so to speak, or there's I'm not going to say hidden, or I'll say unspoken. You also have like unspoken values and stuff. And so the alignment is just making sure that it's that this career fulfill me and fulfill who I am. Still going back to the shoes, we change. I'm talking about the excitement. And so just because this particular career or this environment was good for me at this particular time frame in my life, does that we grow, what I'm saying? Like, you study, psychology. And so with that, there are different developmental stages, that occur. And so within those different developmental stages that are occurring, I'm growing and I'm changing. So my excitement might change. And so we have to constantly assess ourselves and see, okay, is this still fulfilling to me?
Yeah.
Is it still bringing me, some type of fulfillment? Okay, so what's off here? Okay, have my values changed a little bit? Has some of the things I'm interested, has the things that I'm excited about changed? Is it a new skill, new expertise it is that I want? Now I'm attracted to this other particular expertise. Okay, well then that means that I need to shift. And so with that, like I said, you're just knowing yourself, finding out what fulfills you, and choosing something that fulfills that is definitely fulfilling to you.
That's so good. And that's true. You have to know yourself in anything that we do. Self-discovery is always you have the mind shift, and then self-discovery is all part of the mind shift. So if you don't know yourself, you're not going to know who to align yourself with, whether it's a career, whether it's a relationship, it does not matter. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's everything starts with ourselves and knowing ourselves first, and knowing what we value, as you said, knowing what our goals are, where we want to go. People who don't have like those objectives you talked about, don't have goals, all they do is run around in a circle. Then you wonder why you're confused and lack
Yeah.
clarity, because you don't have like a set aim of where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
So that is so good what you're saying. It's important
Yeah.
to know yourself.
You sit up there and you didn't got, like, I think about, people getting like this, oh, I got like this bomb resume. And it's like, okay, you got it, and you nailed the interview, and you got the job. Okay, wonderful. And then in 3 months down the line, now you back miserable again, because now that high, you know what I'm saying, is like
It's
gone.
gone.
And so with that, it makes me think about someone that didn't take the time to know themselves when they left the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then they jumped into the other, and then you like, everybody on the
Man.
outside can see that she done chose the same name type of dude.
Same dude, different name, ma'am.
So it's the same.
It's the
It's the
same
same
thing. Same
frustration.
job,
Yeah, but it's just a
type.
different company, because you
It's a
didn't take
different
the time
company.
to figure out who you are first. It's just like, that's how I see. That's how I.
That's a good analogy though, because we do that. We so quick to jump into the next thing without really taking time to
Yeah, like,
process.
pause, break. Let's figure out what's out of alignment, what's not in
Let's
sync
figure
here.
out what's out of alignment, so we won't jump into the next thing and then wind up being in the same situation. And then it's like it's just
And
a
I don't know
repeated
what's
cycle.
wrong with all these people.
Yeah,
How?
it be you. Like, ma'am, you're the problem. You're the common denominator in this mess. It
Exactly.
don't be everybody else. We need to do some introspection. That's right up my alley. That's what I teach. We need to talk. Let's talk about what's going on inside of you, okay? Because
Right.
why you keep choosing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? That's called insanity.
It is.
We need to
It
do
is.
something
You're
different.
right.
We need to do something different. That's so good. So, can you tell me, so with what you went through during in the admin position that you was in, so what are many reasons that people actually leave their career? Because we hear people, I've heard even when I first started nursing school, right? There were people that come in, dude, this is their second career, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what have you, in the space that you're in, what have you noticed that is the reason why many people may leave a career, even a career that they really enjoy doing? Like what reasons have you heard?
A lot of times what people say is that they're leaving a position, or they're leaving a career, or that place, because of a supervisor. That could be an issue there.
That's true.
there's there's friction within there, within
Yeah.
the supervisor.
Yeah.
And when I say the supervisor, I'm still going into, like, what is it that the supervisor values? What is it
Mm-hmm.
that's significant to the supervisor? They're part of the equation as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely that's a reason. Also, I find people are leaving careers because they did not take the time to learn themselves. One thing about me that I'll say, when I was younger, I had a teacher. I was like in the first. I had this teacher for the first and the second grade, so I can't really. I think it happened in the second grade though, and basically what happened it was some of the students that got together, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna say such and such said this about our teacher's mom," because her mom used to come up there and stuff like that a lot. And so her mom did have like this mole, but they said that someone was gonna say that she had like this big ugly mole on her face, and said big and ugly, and they was like, this person, no, 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 no. And then they came around, they said, hey, we're gonna say Vanice said it. So they said that I said it. And when the teacher came in, I was like, no, I didn't, it wasn't me, I didn't say it, you know, but she was like, McCoy, come with me outside. Come with me outside, McCoy. And I'm like, but I didn't say it. And so she literally, like, she told my behind up. Like, she was like, she told me that the only thing that I was good in was spelling. That was the only thing that I was ever going to be good in, and that I would never be successful in life, right? And
The
so
teacher said
the
this in
teacher told
elementary
me that
school?
because of the students said, I'm like, and I didn't even say it.
Whoa.
And so for that particular reason, I had what I heard, what I told you earlier, what I heard is that to be successful, you have to go to school. And so I didn't realize until like later on, like in counseling, that I was actually chasing society's definition of success instead of learning myself and choosing something, you know, because you know a lot of times like people are like hop skipping, you know, from one major like to the next and stuff like that, you know, they just don't know. It's like they're exploring. And so for that reason, I'm gonna say that and you know, it's not just me, you know, other people have gone through, you know, situations like that where they're chasing something that someone else told them to do, you know. I was trying to basically prove her wrong, you know. I'm going to and in a sense with me chasing and having that in the back of my head, I'm really people pleasing, you know what I'm saying? And so with that, people they're basically choosing a career, or they're having to switch because they realize that, hey, I really didn't want to do this after all. I just did this because my family said that this is what it is that I'm supposed to do, or my teacher said this is what it is that I'm supposed to do. And then you realize I don't really like
We
this.
want to do that, right?
Yeah, it's like I was hype about it at the beginning, but it's like this is really not what it is. And so yeah, that's one of the reasons as well as choosing a career because they said, hey, the outlook, this is going to have a wonderful outlook. So people are switching careers for that reason. And you know, people are also switching careers because so much is changing. You know, we're in love with technology, but technology also in a way sometimes it can steal some positions, so to speak, you know. It alters the positions, or it alters the need for certain positions. And so those are reasons. You can also have different developmental stages on reasons why maybe this career was fulfilling and it also met my needs, but now I have a child and this is not meeting my needs now. And so now I need to switch to find something that, still in alignment, but maybe it pays a little bit more to fit the needs of me and my family, you know. And so there's so many reasons on why people are finding themselves wanting to transition into another career.
That's good. And when you were speaking, and when you was talking about the teacher, which I hope she ain't still teaching, no shade, ma'am. That may not be where you need to be, crushing the little kids' dreams. What in the world? Anyway, God bless her. I do the Christian thing. God bless her heart.
I healed.
Bless the heart. So when you was talking, what came to my mind was limiting beliefs, right? Like like people, they will speak fear into, speak doubt into her. For her, she was just trying to set you up by speaking those words, and then you took that and create this narrative in your head, like, in order for me to be successful, I have to meet these certain standards, and those standards are based on what the society says, but it's not necessarily what God had for you. And I could relate to what you were saying because about the society standards, and you know, me from my culture background, there's only certain careers they think you should have, right? Like me even saying I wanted to be a psych MP, it was a little weird because it was like, what is that? What is that? Is that a nurse and a practitioner? Why don't you just be a doctor? You know, so I had to go through that, you know, and explain to my parents, explain to people. It's mental health. Yes, I'm a nurse, but yes, I'm also a provider. They understand that. It's either you're a nurse or a doctor, right? And there's just certain careers that you have to have in our culture, you know, either engineer, a lawyer, a doctor. Everything else don't even matter. Right? It doesn't matter. So, you know, so I could relate to what you're saying of, you know, people going after these things because of what their family may have pushed them to do, or what society may have told them that this is the path that you should go versus what they actually were created to do. So that was really good what you said. We have to be very mindful of who's in our ear. Because they could definitely derail you from what God actually wants you to do. And then you're spending all these years trying to figure things out when you should just follow the path that he said versus worried about what other people say. So those limiting beliefs, we have to unlearn those things. And so that's really good. And I could definitely relate to what you're saying.
And let me elaborate some more with, I'm so glad that you said limiting beliefs, because one of the other things is low self-worth. That can be a reason why someone is misaligned. And then whenever they truly find like their worth, that they are worthy, then they'll go ahead and choose something. Because that was a part of my settling as well. That wasn't the first job out of college, that I had, but I had, some rocky situations. I was like, and I chose that, even though it was definitely supposed to be a bridge. And so without you knowing, people are saying, oh, I think that you can do this. It doesn't matter what someone else thinks that you can do, or they see the light in you if you don't acknowledge the light within yourself. If you don't acknowledge your own value, if you don't acknowledge your own worth. And that's another reason I'll say why people are switching careers, because they possibly still don't know their worth, or because they have now come to acknowledge that, hey, I am worthy, and let me go ahead and go after this, because
they're not downplaying their self anymore. Especially based on other people's insecurity. They're not downplaying themselves. So that's really good. So for you, what does working, we hear purpose all the time, and I had labeled this broadcast working in purpose. So what does working in purpose, what does that mean to you?
Working in purpose. I'm gonna take something from Patrice Washington. She's my other coach. She was actually my first coach, business coach. And so one of the things that she says is that passion is for you, and that purpose is for people.
Ooh, that's a good one. Passion is for you, and purpose is for people.
Is for other people. And so with that, I'm going to say that it's like, okay, what is it about this particular position? What is it about this particular career? What is it about it that is, we're all called to be servants, so to speak. And so what is it about this one that, how am I serving someone else in this particular position? And I felt like the purpose, working in the purpose is basically, truly being like a servant. People can serve people with being like photographers. And maybe it was like, a lot of times they can marry, you can pray and ask God to give you like the passion, to give you like that excitement for the purpose. Because sometimes people aren't necessarily, it's like, like I was saying earlier, like it's not sexy. Just like your handiness is not sexy. Sometimes people don't acknowledge that purpose. Like, I don't want to be that particular type of person. I don't want to work with marriage and family therapy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't want to be one of them that talk about that or whatever. And it's just like, but God can help you. Can help like that interest. So I feel like it still needs to be in alignment, but it's like, okay, it's also being some type of like servant, like not servants or whatever, but serving, someone else, so to speak.
Yeah, that's good. And you're right. We all called to be, you had it right. We all called to be a servant. Like as you said, passions for you, purposes for other people. Well, Patrice said that, and that is true. And I think when we start seeing that, then it opens doors for us to even find problems to resolve, right? Because we are created to be problem solvers.
Yeah.
So that's I appreciate you dropping that. That's so important. So times are different now. It's 2021. So I know things that we learned in school, honestly think we should have learned more about careers and just life skills in general, you know what I mean? But what would you tell like kids that are coming up now, like maybe some high schoolers or whatever, who are, putting those college applications in? I know you talked about self-discovery, knowing who you are, but they're still experiencing life at that age. They didn't quite know who they are because they haven't been in the world out there in the world to kind of have these experiences to learn who they are. So what would you say for kids who are, applying for these college applications, or even going into the workforce and what they're trying to do? What would you say, what should they start be doing now to kind of develop themselves so they can be able to one day maybe line up that career that they really want, that's aligned with their purpose? What should they be doing now, putting into place now for them?
I would say one of the things that they can do, a lot of times the people don't know, you're going to choose what you've been exposed to. And so I feel like one of the things is to get exposure. And one of the ways that I had just posted this the other day, one of the things that people can do to get exposure is to make sure that they're doing informational interviews. And the informational interview is basically, it's not that I'm trying to get a job with this particular person. Like for me, let's say that I wanted to be a nurse practitioner. So, who do I know in my context, or who do I know that is a nurse practitioner? Oh gosh, Grace is a nurse practitioner. So let me ask her about this particular position, and see some different things that I could do, like to volunteer. So I'm going to ask you different types of things. Hey, how did you become, a nurse practitioner? What is it that like what are the pros and what are the cons of this particular, position? What called you to this position? What did you do? Like, are there traditional routes or are there non-traditional routes to get there? Like, it's a lot of different questions that someone needs to make sure that they're asking. So that's what I would tell them to do, that is to make sure that they're doing a lot of informational interviews with people and documenting them. You have to document them and see, okay, like what was it that I liked about that, and what was it that I didn't like about that particular position, and one thing with the informational interviews, is you have to, what can I say? You have to understand that it's subjective. So just because you shared your pros and cons, the cons that you have could possibly be pros for me. And so that's one of the things that I would say is make sure, hey, okay, let's make sure that we're doing information interviews. The second thing is that I would say volunteer. volunteer. Whenever your position is a little bit different, but the person that is within that particular position, they'll be able to tell you some different ways that you can possibly shadow someone. Like I said, yours is different because yours is a lot of things that are confidential, but sometimes you can go volunteer at a hospital, and that's how you're gaining connections and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, let me see what they're doing over here, like in this particular floor, what are they doing, different places, different areas. And so definitely volunteering. I would also say that they need to see what it is that they are naturally great at. What are the things that they are naturally great at? When I was speaking about handiness earlier, the thing with handiness is natural abilities, or sometimes people call them aptitudes, is there are things that come naturally easy to you, that require less time, less energy, and less effort than the regular particular individual. One example that I like to use a lot with that is for someone that is, think about that little boy, that little girl at church, and they're like, oh my, then you see them singing, oh, I have no idea where he get that.
He can sing.
And he's 4 years old, or he's 6 years old, or something like that. And it's like, well, I don't know. The parents like, I can't sing. I didn't, I didn't put him in no classes or nothing like that. And that's the thing, is it comes naturally easy. And so it's something, these particular things, they have to make sure that they know what those are, because a lot of times people don't discover them, until later. And so there are certain positions that can align with your there are certain positions that can align with your particular natural abilities. And so I would say with that, learning your natural abilities, sometimes you don't know, what they are, because they come so naturally to you, you write it off. And so with that, one of the assessments that I actually like, that I'm certified to provide, is the Highlands Ability Battery. And that's something that can basically be able to show someone what it is that they're naturally talented with. And those things, it's not a use it or lose it thing. It's like, this is a gift that God gave you, like the skills is a little bit more of a use it or lose it, because this is something that I acquired through education or through training. And so, I would say information interviews, volunteering, getting to know what your natural abilities are. And then there are some different career exposure programs. I remember.
Yes, I asked you about that. Like, especially for parents, for their kids, like what can parents do to help?
Yeah, I would say career exposure programs. And if they don't have that, then the volunteering would be the next best thing. When I was in high school, what was it called? It was OU Health Science Center Summer Academy. The University of Oklahoma Health Sciences Academy. And with that, of course, what we were learning, we went and we got to visit the school of, it was a week? It was a week or a 2-week thing. And so you're learning about careers in the health field. So we went to the school of dentistry. We went to the school of nursing. I remember I think we even got to do a tooth filling.
Really?
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And so I was trying to figure that out. The School of Dentistry, you looking at, the orthodontics part of it as well. You're looking at, School of Nursing. Oh, we even operated, so to speak, like on a cadaver.
Wow.
Yeah. And so those particular
experience.
Yeah, and so it was really, really, really great experience, because I used to think that I wanted to be a nurse, because they were saying, when I was in high school, they were saying, hey, nursing is the way, it's a shortage of nursing. If you do nursing, I had, and it wasn't for me.
That was not aligned. You knew yourself.
I wasn't aligned. And so with that,
amazing.
I would say do that. The career exposure programs are wonderful. Sometimes you have some that are exposing a lot, or that one was just specific to healthcare. And the other thing I would say, let's see here. I had another one in my brain that just tried to leave me. Oh, the other thing that I would say is with this is, if you don't know, don't be going into that for something that you don't know. So I'm like, unless you got a full ride to that particular degree, to that institution, honey, then I would say go to a 2-year, because you still have time to learn yourself. A lot of times I hate the pressure that's applied to the younger generation. Any younger generation. It's, what I'm saying? It wasn't like just for us, like it's still happening right now. It's a horrible cycle, I feel like. You studied, psychology, and I want to say the age is 25 or like 30, like the brain is still like developing. And so for that reason, the person doesn't really know. And you're saying, hey, so what do you want to do when you grow up? Hey, so what do you want to do? It's just like, and we're not accepting their I don't know. And so for that reason, you hurry up and you choose something that can shut everybody up, For me, I had chose like nursing, because if I say nursing, there's no follow-up question. Versus if you say, hey, I remember I had ended up doing criminal justice. If you choose criminal justice, oh, so what do you want to do? A police officer? Oh, so what do you want to do?
Ma'am, they have like just more questions come. That is true. That is true.
So I'm very, very observant. I was observant like as a child, and so I would see everybody. So I was like, okay, so if I say nursing, then everybody gonna shut up.
It just shuts it down, right? Anything in healthcare just shuts it down. That's so good, though. That is so good. I went to community college. I got my associate degree before I went and got my bachelor's, and before I went and got my master's degree. So I understand sometimes you have to go in steps, just to figure out what you want to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I tell people all the time, you do whatever fits your
especially when you're still figuring things out.
Yeah. Especially when you're trying to figure things out. And I've seen people who do these programs, and at the very end, they're like, this is not what I wanted to do. We had someone in nursing school, like, but thankfully she realized that after the first year, before we started getting to all the other stuff that we had to do, she went to something totally different. Wasn't even in healthcare, totally like finance or something. It was totally different. Was nothing. No.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to be mindful of that. And that kind of reminded me quickly when I first started. I had told my godmother that I just wanted to go be a phlebotomist, not because I wanted to be a phlebotomist. I just wanted to go into some quick program so I can get my coins because I have a child to take care of, and I did not want to be in school forever. And she was like, Grace, that's not what you wanted to do. Why are you going to do something just to get quick and get out? You know, when you know that's not what you wanted. And thank God I, followed her wisdom, because I didn't want to be a phlebotomist. I don't work in healthcare. I don't want to do nothing with blood. No.
Right.
No, that was no. But I just wanted to get something. She was like, that doesn't even make sense, because you always, you wanted to be a nurse. Just go for what you want. So you're right. You have to know yourself. That thing that you said at the beginning is so important. You have to know yourself. All right, Miss Venice, you've been, oh my God, you just been dropping them gems. And no one has no excuse. You watch this live, the replay, you ain't got no excuse to get aligned, okay? This woman done gave y'all all free framework. All right? I be bringing the expertise in. You got free framework, okay? This stuff costs, but you got a bonus today. Y'all got a bonus today. All right, so you dropped all these great gems. I just want you to tell people where they can catch you at, anything you got going on, where they can follow you, so they can be able to just maybe connect with you. So drop them deets.
Thank you so much. This has been fun. First of all, I just need to let you know that I've enjoyed it. I'm mostly active on Instagram, but it also shares to my Facebook, and so it's Vanice Consults. I have it down there. It's just Vanice Consults. As well, that's the same as my website, even though it's still being reconstructed right now. But it's vaniceconsults.com. And so, if someone wanted, the shoes, I have like a freebie in my LinkedIn bio, or link. I don't know why I said LinkedIn, but in my Instagram bio, you can get the freebie that is talking about, career fulfillment. And that basically breaks down the shoes, just in case someone needed to have that broken down. So I'm creating an ebook with it, so the way it's more elaborative. Right now, I just have to go ahead. I have it written out. I just need to add a little bit introduction and a conclusion, so to speak. But yeah, so that'll be coming out as well. I have a
awesome.
I have a career. I have a group coaching program called Career Alignment Blueprint. And it walks you through the steps on how to make sure that you are choosing like the shoes and everything. And so it's very, very deep, making sure that we're going with those limiting beliefs and everything as well. I'll be launching that again sometime this year.
Amazing. So y'all need to connect with her, follow her. When she gets everything, go ahead and follow her on Instagram, so at least you'll be able to connect with her and be updating things that she's doing. So when she start launching these different programs, y'all gonna get in. Y'all get exclusive access when you start connecting.
Right.
As of for me, thank you so much, Venice. As of for me, I am going to be dropping the Thrive workshop coming up soon, where I'm going to be able to help women basically teach them a framework so they can be able to thrive in their career, business, and personal life. Because we say we are purpose living here, right? So purpose is how we live. So that'll be dropping soon. In order for you to be able to get notice of this before it hits public, make sure that you join my email tribe. My email community is womanarise.co/SmileBizMember. Go ahead and join the tribe. That way you can be able to get access to the things that I am doing. And those who are part of the tribe as well, they they get access to selected promotions. So go ahead and join. And I just want to thank you so much, Venice. Oh my God. You listen, these gems that you dropped, I'm like, okay, shoes. Okay. Based on that, I know I'm aligned.
Okay, do it. That's what I love to hear. I love to hear that.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I really appreciate you. And of course, we'll definitely connect some more. And for those who watch the replay, share this broadcast. Like I said, each one teach one. You never know who you can help when you just share something with them. You got the knowledge, so go ahead and pass it on. Okay. I will catch you guys next month. We're gonna have another fabulous guest here. So go ahead and tune in. You'll be updated when we're going to drop the next show. Okay, so go ahead and get on my email list. Follow me on my business page, Smile Biz LLC. Also follow me on Instagram at Woman Arise Academy, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.